Welcome to Toyota Time with Timmy the Toolman and Sean and special guest Garrett, also known as Major Garrett. What we're going to show you today is how to put some bolt-on rock rails, also known as rock sliders, onto a 5th gen 4Runner. And you're thinking, 5th gen? 5th gen? Timmy the Toolman doesn't work on 5th gens. Well, yeah, we're going to start doing some work on some different Toyota trucks and SUVs. We're branching out. And so you're probably going to see us doing some more work on things other than 3rd generation Toyota 4Runners. The bolt-on rock sliders that Garrett chose are from RSG. You obviously have options. There's a lot of different manufacturers of rock sliders. Some are bolt-on, some are weld-on. Garrett chose a bolt-on slider rather than a weld-on slider, and he chose RSG over different manufacturers. I'll turn it over to Garrett now, and I'm going to let him explain why he chose RSG and then why he chose the particular RSG model, because they have different models.
Okay, so the reason why I chose the RSG sliders over different companies, a couple of reasons why. One was the accessibility of ordering the RSG sliders from Colorado and having them shipped directly to my house. Second was going through the T4R forum. There was other companies that had group buys going on, but the wait and the lead time was too long for what I wanted to wait for. So through RSG, I actually had gotten them purchased in April, and I saved $100. So with the $100 that I saved, I was able to have RSG do the powder coating, and I had them ship them to California where we live, because I'm not going to drive all the way out of state to buy them. So there's 4 main options you can get with the RSG sliders for the 5th gen 4Runner. You can either have angled sliders, flat sliders, and in the angled and flat you can have a top plate or no plate. So the sliders that I chose for my 5th gen was angled with a rear kick out and no top plate. Now the reason why I picked the angled sliders was to have a more slimmer profile. And through RSG, they have a kick out when you're on the trail and you might have a departure where the rear end needs to be more protected on the way out. Now, the reason why I did not pick the top plate was because the sliders are angled, you're not really going to have a full level surface to stand on. And because they are sliders and not real steps, you can still use the sliders to stand on them when loading gear, but I did not need, at my height, a full step to stand in my, as of now, stock height TRD Pro 4Runner.
Garrett did an awesome job explaining the reason why he chose RSG and the RSG model. Now we're going to show you how the rock rails came packaged from the manufacturer and shipped to his house in California. Here's what the rock sliders look like out of the box. They came boxed individually, and you can see how they nicely protected the bars with some foam padding, and then they used a plastic material to wrap it all and keep it all intact. Here's what the rock sliders look like unpackaged. There's an obvious difference in the way the two sides are done. You see this big gap right here? Well, that's for if you have the KDSS system. The control box is on the driver's side frame rail, and that area that's cut out is to allow for a KDSS system. Garrett doesn't have KDSS, so he doesn't need that cut out, but this is a one-size-fits-all kind of application. The company probably didn't want to make individual sliders for the different models. They just made the driver's side so it could accommodate both the KDSS vehicles and the non-KDSS. You can see how many points of contact they have. On this front foot, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points of contact. On the rear foot, on the driver's side slider, you have another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points of contact. So that looks like it's going to be held onto the frame pretty good with a lot of strength. This is the passenger side one, and this one is held on with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bolts on the front, and another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the rear. When we lifted these up, these have a pretty good amount of girth to them. They're not built cheaply. They are built pretty darn good. They use some pretty heavy gauge steel. I think these rock sliders are going to protect this 5th gen really well. Here's what his rig looks like currently without the rock sliders on. If your vehicle came with steps, you would obviously have to remove your steps first, but since Garrett bought this used and the previous owner didn't buy steps with it, we don't have to first remove the factory steps in order to get ready to install this rock slider kit. Here's all the fasteners that came with this kit. It's a bunch of M8 bolts with a 125 pitch, some flat washers, and some lock washers. It's basically going to be bolt, lock washer, flat washer. And that's how the bolt and washers are going to come together to bolt it up to the frame. Now, especially if you didn't have existing steps on your rig, those bolt holes are probably going to be filled with a little dirt and debris. So before you start bolting your rock sliders up to the frame, a good thing to do is to clean out the bolt holes with some type of cleaner spray. We're going to use some brake cleaner, and then we're going to run a thread restorer into those holes to make sure the bolts are going to thread in really nicely. Some people will choose to run a tap, but I don't really recommend running a tap, because if you run a tap through, there's a good chance you're going to be actually cutting new threads, and I don't think that's so much of a good idea, because then maybe the bolts are going to be fitting a little bit loose in those bolt holes. I'll put a link in the video description of the Craftsman thread restore kit I bought. It's a good one, and so you can do the same thing when you get around putting rock sliders onto your rig. The rock sliders come with a nice set of instructions. One of the things that we need to do first before we hold up the rock slider to the driver's side to figure out which bolt holes we need to clean, we have to remove the parking brake bracket out of our way. So we're going to show you how to do that now. Here's the driver's side rear tire. Here's the body mount in front of the rear tire. This is one of the brackets holding the parking brake cable onto the driver's side frame rail. Going forward, you have another one about a foot forward, a little bit higher on the frame rail. The fasteners are a 12mm bolt. Garrett's gonna break them free with a 3/8 ratchet and a 12mm socket. Then he's gonna zip them out the rest of the way with my Milwaukee M12 cordless ratchet. Since the parking brake cable wants to hang down in your way, just to make it easier for ourselves, we zip tied it to this body mount so we can get the rock slider in place and figure out which bolt holes we need to clean out. We used two 3-ton jack stands to help support the rock rail while we got it up against the driver's side frame rail, and then we marked all the holes we need to use with a paint pen. Now we're going to pull the rock rail out away from the driver's side frame rail and clean up those bolt holes that we're going to use. The frame has all these hard plastic plugs. And what we figured out, it's probably good to remove all the hard plastic plugs that are going to end up underneath the feet of the rock sliders. Here's one of the ones we already removed. It's plugging a fairly good sized hole, but we think it's better to get them out of the way instead of having them sandwich underneath the feet of the rock slider so the rock slider won't come fully into contact with the frame rail. Here's what the plugs look like that we removed. Some of them totally broke to pieces. We just got underneath there with a little small screwdriver and then just used a small pry bar to break them out the rest of the way. So with the rock sliders held up to the frame rail, we marked all the holes we need to use with a orange paint pen, and now Garrett is going to spray some brake cleaner into each hole. Then we're going to chase the threads with the thread restorer. Before we start running the thread restorer into the threads, Garrett's going to lubricate all the holes with some WD-40. So what Garrett's going to do is he's going to put the thread restorer into the hole by hand first to make sure it's starting nice, and then he's going to get on there with a 1/4-inch ratchet and thread it all the way through. We chased all the threads, and now we're going to go ahead and clean up the threads with some brake cleaner again, because we're choosing to use a little bit of blue 242 Loctite just to make sure the bolts don't back out. And the Loctite is going to get a better adhesion to the female threads if we clean it up and get the WD-40 out of there. We found that everything was lining up pretty good except for one hole. This is the front foot on the driver's side, and we decided just to take a little grinder wheel on a Dremel tool and just ground it out just a little bit so the bolt is going to line up much better with the female threads on the frame. Grinding out this top right mounting hole of the driver's side foot was a good idea, so now all the bolt holes are lining up a little bit better. We just basically had to take about a 1/16 of an inch of material off to get that bolt to line up, not a whole lot. We have a bolt on the front and on the rear snug holding the rock slider in place on the frame, and now we're going to put blue Loctite on all the threads of the bolts, snug them up, and then torque them to the proper torque spec. To make it quicker to get the bolts in, we use my Milwaukee M12 cordless. It really is a nice tool to add to your tool collection. It makes getting fasteners out and back in really quick. So we got Loctite on all the M8 bolts. We zipped them in with the Milwaukee M12 cordless ratchet, and now we're going to torque all these fasteners to 24 foot-pounds. Here's the front bracket for the driver's side parking brake. The little tab that used to stick into the hole no longer reaches. That's just the way it's going to be because of the thickness of the foot of the rock rail doesn't allow the little tab to fit into the hole anymore, but no big deal. Then here is the rear bracket reattached to the frame now that we have the rock sliders in place. All of these M8 bolts that are provided by the kit, they have a 13 millimeter head. Originally, these bolts that held the bracket on were a 12 millimeter, but the kit has replacement bolts for those too. So now all the fasteners have a 13 millimeter head to them. Here's what the final result looks like. This is the passenger side. I'll come in. You can see what it looks like on the front here. See what the rear kick out looks like. Kind of a shot from looking like right on top of it. There's actually quite a bit of room for adjustment of how high you have the rock rails on your frame. So this is the gap that we ended up with. You could actually have more of a gap than this. We chose to get the rock rails up a little higher and closer to the body rather than further away. Here's what it looks like on the driver's side. Rear kick out. Coming along from a view looking right down on top of them. You can see the gap we have between the rock slider and the body. All right, Major Garrett, what do you think of this modification? Are you happy? Do you like the result?
I'm happy with the modification. I like the result. I like the way the sliders sit on the rig at the angle. Looking forward to using them once I get my Gobi rack to load more gear on top of the 4Runner so I can have more room for the inside for gear and the dogs. And looking forward to taking it on some trails where I can get some scrapes, bumps, and bruises with it, and we'll get ready to do the next modification.
Rad. Hey, so are you going to do any mall crawling in your rig? I heard mall crawling is pretty technical.
It is a technical sport that some people are into, but I'm hoping to stick to the dirt trails and follow Timmy the Toolman with some 3rd gens on the next travels.
All right, we're done with this modification to a 5th generation Toyota 4Runner. This is a bolt-on application for a rock slider. There are weld-on rock sliders too. Because these rock sliders have so many bolts holding them onto the frame rail, I think they're going to be plenty strong to take a really good hit and protect his body. You could go with weld-on, but then that's kind of permanent. If you bend them and you have to replace them, now you got to cut them off. That's where I think the bolt-on have an advantage over weld-on, is that if you do take a sizable hit and there's enough damage to where you have to remove them, to fix them or replace them, a bolt-on is going to be a little bit easier for you to accomplish that. With all that said, we thank you for watching Toyota Time with Timmy the Toolman and Sean and special guest Garrett. We'll be back with more videos. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. If you have any questions or comment, do that below. Take care. Bye-bye.